A couple days ago was the No Kings protest, and I really wanted to talk about this because those same people, if they were given the chance to be kings and queens, they would be yelling off with their heads for so many conservatives. I mean, you guys were the same people that were laughing at a Christian man being assassinated in public. These people are the actual dictators of our country. You guys are already trying to take the freedom of speech away from us. You're already trying to take the right to bear arms away from us. And at the same time, if you have the audacity to disagree with these people, they will either completely block you or they will result to violence. They say that they advocate for human rights, but those human rights stop when it comes to the humans inside mothers' wombs.
Human rights, what do you think about them?
We're in favor of them.
For everybody?
Yes.
How about the unborn? Do you support human rights?
Yes, of course.
For everybody?
Yes, of course.
Even people in the womb?
Well, it all depends on if they're actually a baby or not.
Science says they are.
Well, it depends on what science you're talking about.
96% of all biologists, according to the NIH. Thoughts on human rights?
I'm all for them.
Yeah, me too.
Especially now, right? Yeah.
For everybody, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Even the unborn?
An unborn, what?
Unborn in the womb. Yeah, no rights for them.
If you are a person of color, they will tell you, oh my goodness, we're here for you guys. We are pro-black. We are pro-Hispanic. The moment you have a difference of opinion, that is the moment that they will assault you and they will laugh at you being assaulted. Because again, it's not about unity when it comes to them. It's about dictatorship. It's about you must follow a certain ideology, and if you don't, that is the moment we will cause violence on you. I have had people that I personally known literally attack me for my own views when I have always been very accepting of theirs. A lot of these liberals don't realize how they're turning people conservatives because of the violence they keep pushing on people and how hostile they are. Like I said, I wanted to share my own personal experience today because I have had very, very crazy experiences in my own life when it comes to people. For example, I have been talking about transgenders and how a lot of these transgender movements and laws have been impeding on children's rights, on parents' rights, and also women's rights, especially when it comes to sports. I have nothing against the LGBT people. In fact, a lot of my friends have been gay. A lot of people in my family are gay. I've even known two girls that transitioned. But when you are impeding on other people's rights, then yeah, I'm gonna talk about that. There was this girl that I had became friends with because she was my neighbor, and at the beginning of the year, she knew my views on transgender people. She knew I had nothing against them. It's just certain laws that were being passed I was against. And I even had told her how in my school they were teaching about transgenders, and I even had told her how I disagreed with changing the girls' bathroom into a transgender bathroom. And I told her how uncomfortable I felt. And she knew all about this. But almost a year later, she asked me two questions that pertain to transgender people, and one of them was, if you were to meet my friends, would you call them by the pronouns? And I said, listen, I'm a very respectful person, and I'm not going to be pushing my political ideology on people unless you ask me, or unless I know that we're close. I will not just go around talking to you about my politics. And I said, of course, like, I'll be respectful, because again, I used to also be part of the Palestinian activism, and in there they were all about the pronouns, right? But that answer was not good enough for her because she asked me a second question a different time. And this time she must have been recording me or FaceTiming her friends, I don't know. Because she had the phone a certain way, directing it at me and acting as if she wasn't. Now, we were randomly talking about certain things, and she randomly brings this up. She asks me, if you had a 3-year-old son and he wanted to wear a dress and he wanted to dress like a girl, would you allow your child to dress like a girl? And I said, no, I wouldn't, because as a parent, I have a responsibility, and kids come up with ideas all the time. What happens if this child grows up and does not identify like that, and he's embarrassed that I had him dressed up like a girl? I wouldn't want to emasculate him and do this to him, so I told her no. Now, if he is 18 years old and he says, Mom, look, this is who I am, and I want to dress like a girl, I want to transition, I would tell him, listen, why don't we socially transition? In the meantime, let's wait on medically transitioning, because once you medically transition, you can't go back. So let's, instead of taking that big risk, instead of taking that big step, let's make sure this is something that you truly want, because again, we change our belief systems all the time, and you want to make sure that you are solidified in this belief, right, before you take a huge step. And I told her I would never kick my child out of the home simply because he comes to me and says that he's transgender. I would never do that, because I know a lot of transgender people, a lot of gay people, when they are rejected by their family, they end up going to drugs, or they end up in the wrong crowds. Some of them end up becoming prostitutes, and I just would never want that for my child. You know, I'd rather my child know that he has a mother that will always support him and will want his safety and will be thinking about his safety, right? And I don't know why, but that answer freaked her out. She said, "What? So your biggest fear is having a gay son? You are the type of woman to kick your child out of the house." Whoa, 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 whoa. I just told you I would never do that. What do you mean? Now she starts yelling at me, you guys, and going crazy. And this time she's not hiding how she's recording me or on FaceTime with someone. I don't even know, you guys. But she doesn't hide the fact that she's doing something with her phone and pointing it at me. I even had told her, listen, you hate white people, because she does, okay? She's a huge racist person against white people. And she talks really bad about white people. And I had told her, you know, a lot of these ideologies that you're following and you're attacking me for, white people were behind, like John Money or Margaret Sanger. And I had told her, I better not hear you ever talk about white people, because you love their ideology. Now, I definitely must have triggered something, because she ends up picking up her gun, you guys. She picks up her gun and says, if I want to talk about white people, and this time she's talking on the phone, right? She's like, if I want to talk about white people, I will talk about white people, flinging the gun around. And I'm like, okay. I put my boots on, I put my shoes on, and I leave, because why are you getting so violent? Oh my goodness. Now it gets even better. Now this part of the story, I am 100% taking accountability. Okay, and you can say that it is my fault, and yeah, I'm taking 100% of the blame, okay? Because I had left the door open because I wanted a cool breeze into my home, because there was no ceiling fan, and her cat, because it doesn't have a leash, she ends up trying to go into my home. The little cat goes and tries to come into my home. I stopped the cat. Well, that really triggered her, okay? And she starts yelling at me. She starts calling me the B word and all that stuff. And I was just so annoyed that I was like, cállate la boca, pinche pendeja, blah, 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 blah. I started yelling at her back, okay? And her friend tried to jump me. Well, I'm like, man, I'm tired of this stuff. So I called the cops. And because, again, she has a gun and she already doesn't play fair. So I already called the cops, and so I called the cops, and then when the cops arrived, she says, oh my God, she called the cops. She knows I'm a black woman. We're supposed to stick together. Mind you, when I had said, cállate la boca, pinche pendeja, she was saying, this is America, speak English. Oh, but now all of a sudden that I call the cops, now you're, oh my God, I'm a victim. We're supposed to stick together. She shouldn't even be having the gun if that's how she's going to use it. But I didn't tell the police that. I simply called the cops because I just wanted her to leave me alone. And she did.